homeschooling high school by the seat of your pants? Could you use some proven strategies for the homeschool high school years? Hey, today I have got 6 tips that really, really work that can move you from survive to thrive. These are tried and true ideas, not just with my own family, but with many of the homeschool families that I have counseled over the years. These strategies will get you from here to here. Welcome to Homeschool University, where life meets learning. I'm Diana Applegate, and today we have video number 2 in my 5-video series on Homeschool High School. So today we have those strategies that really, really work in the high school years. And the first one I have for you is one that most people skip. I can guarantee it. This is not common that people think of this, but it's super important. Develop a mission statement. That's right. You've got to have a mission statement because let's face it, the high school years are all about having a long-range vision. You got 4 years here and you need to be able to see the prize at the end. You need to have that long-range vision. The best way you're going to do that is to have a mission statement. The same thing that successful businesses use. Why? So they can keep their eyes on what's really important. So what is important in your homeschool? Do you want your kids to be successful or rich? Or do you want them to be good people that do good things in the world? Whatever it is, you need to develop in writing how that's going to look. So let me give you an example. This is actually the mission statement from our homeschool. It was named Lacus Classical Academy, by the way. So Lacus Classical Academy is a homeschool high school dedicated to providing a rich and diverse atmosphere of learning and character development. Its goal is to help its students use their gifts and abilities to bring glory to God, to benefit their fellow man, and to create a world where compassion and grace combine with confidence and talent to allow everyone to achieve his or her full potential. Okay, as you can tell from that mission statement, we actually had a twofold approach to the high school years. Yes, we had academics and we wanted very serious academics on one side, but on the other side, we wanted character building. And we wanted to mesh those two things together so that our children grew up to be good people. Yes. The way that we did that was, by the way, to combine our regular academics with volunteer work, with work out in the community, helping others. What did that look like? Well, for one thing, we went to nursing homes. Nursing homes actually need people to help them with things like field trips because you got to push all those wheelchairs at the zoo or the mall. Great. Teenagers are perfect for that. Plus, it gives them a little lesson in how valuable older people and people that are differently abled are. That's important. Another thing that my kids did, there was a nature center that wasn't too far from us. At this nature center, they were actually building a Michigan history reenactment site. I mean, we're talking a full-size log cabin and an 1820s barn. Well, it was mostly older men that were working on this because it was all strictly volunteer work. So my boys in the teen years all helped with that project. They got really good at things like working with others of all different ages. And they also got really good at making handmade shingles and putting them up. That was a fun skill. Now, if they ever need to do that, they know how. Another way that we incorporated this sort of atmosphere into our homeschool was we had a friend at the church that we attended that for whatever reason, I don't remember the circumstances, but their house was built like on a regular foundation. They had to dig a basement out underneath part of it. So they needed help with that because they really didn't have the finances to pay a contractor or an excavator or somebody to come in. So they were literally doing it by hand, a wheelbarrow full at a time, and occasional bobcat use. Well, I had 3 strong teenage boys, so off they marched to go help with that. And it was a really good experience because they got to do something that meant a lot to someone else for no reason other than because it was important to them and they could help. What great ways to build character. So what can you do if that's important in your homeschool? Maybe take one day a week and your teen volunteers somewhere. Think about how you can carry out your mission statement. And hopefully your mission statement is going to include that character aspect. The next strategy I have for you would be teens and wiggle room. That's right. Giving your teens some space to develop maturity and independence. And along the way, guess what? This one is going to eliminate some of that conflict that goes on between you and your teenager. Just saying, all that conflict is not necessary. But you have to think about, where does a lot of it come from? A lot of it comes from decision making and choices that your teen doesn't feel empowered to make, but thinks they should be. Things like, how you're going to do your schoolwork. Okay, in our homeschool, by the time you got to the teen years, you could do your schoolwork in your room. You didn't have to be out in a communal area anymore, but you did have to keep your door open. But if anyone wanted to come into your room while you were in there in school hours, they did have to ask permission, and you were allowed to say no. That means the younger siblings had some boundaries. That was a good thing. Another way that might happen, maybe in some of the coursework that your teen has, they can make some decisions. You may have subjects, I think every family does, mom and dad have decided these things over here are the box that you can't touch. These are, you're going to do them. They're inviolate. They're not going anywhere. But maybe you have other subjects that your teen could have some say in. Things like, okay, we want you to do a foreign language. You pick which foreign language. Or maybe you need to have an art credit this year, so you pick what kind of artwork do you want to do, what kind of resources do you want to use. All those things that, like I said, they encourage maturity, they encourage accountability and responsibility, because frankly there are consequences to decisions that you make, right? Suppose they choose a foreign language they don't like. 2 weeks in, they're like, I don't want to do Spanish anymore. Okay, well, you have to finish the semester because that was your choice. So that teaches them that we have to stick it out even if we don't like it, because that's being responsible. Or maybe you need more of that accountability side. Yes, you can do schoolwork in your room, but oh wait, now suddenly you're leaving your door closed. Well, guess what? There are consequences. So now you're not going to have that option for a while. It's what happens out in the real world. Seriously, if you go to work, does your boss allow you to do your job however you want, whenever you want? No, there are boundaries. This is how we do it. Even if you don't like it, this is how we do it. Now, mind you, you may have a better idea, and you may be able to share that idea and make things more interesting in your job. But quite often, we just do it that way because that's what's required of us and because that's being responsible. So why not give your teen a chance to develop those skills a little earlier on? This next strategy is actually really near and dear to my heart. The reason being my age. Seriously, okay? I am in the golden years, more or less, right? I can't tell you how many people I know my age that their kids are all grown and out of the house, and they have nothing to do. They have nothing going on in their life because they never developed any hobbies. That's right. This tip is about the value of hobbies. Your teen needs hobbies. Everyone needs hobbies, in my opinion, to make them a well-rounded individual. Because you know what? Life doesn't always go exactly the way we'd like it to. It doesn't always inspire our confidence. It may even be frustrating. Great. So now you're going to have this thing that you really enjoy, that you're passionate about, that allows you to just relax and enjoy life for a little while. That's a hobby. That's a great thing to have. As far as what kind of hobbies, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my child? All they want to do is play video games. Okay. By the way, just saying, video games are not a hobby, okay? They're not a hobby. But you can take that interest in computers and say, okay, you know what? you can develop your own video game maybe with some tutorials from YouTube, or you can learn how to code. Good example, my oldest son, Mr. Mechanical Engineer, he actually got an interest in robots and went out and learned how to code and program the robots and build them. Oh my gosh, hot glued Legos were such a thing here for a while. But that became a hobby that was not only really beneficial, but it was a great outlet for him for that interest in all things computer. I have another child who really got into models, and to this day, he still builds models because it's just a great relaxation time for him to be able to do something that is just plain enjoyable. So just saying, do not overlook the value of hobbies in the teen years. They are really important, and this is a great time to start them. Now, this next tip could get me some hate mail. Please don't flame me in the comments. I'm just saying, but this one, I have proven this time and time again with the families I've helped and with my own family. Wait until senior year to take the ACT or the SAT test. Seriously, think about what these tests are for. They are to measure, to gauge what information you have actually soaked in from your high school studies, and also how well your brain connects things together to produce logical thought, especially the ACT, but also the SAT. Okay, why would you want to take those tests when you're not done learning things? If you're taking those tests freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, you know what? You're testing over material you haven't covered yet. You can't answer those questions correctly. Well, you could guess, I suppose, but you're not going to do well on the test. Think about the idea that these tests are also strictly for the college bound. If you're not going to go to college, you don't need to take these. A lot of kids make that decision somewhere around senior year. So that's the time to take the test, right? When you're sure of your path and you've learned everything you can and your brain is really able to connect the dots. Because let's face it, I think brains get finished baking at about age 25. So anything below that, there's still some loose stuff floating around in there. Give your teen a chance to really solidify what they need to know before they go and take these tests. Now, I know some of you right now are saying, but what about the PSAT? There's scholarship money attached to that, and it's junior year. Yes, that's true. If that's super important to you, okay, let your teen go take it. If that's what is important in their college career, which they obviously have decided they're going to do, then go take it. Some of you may also be in a situation where if you're applying to a super competitive college, one with a very low acceptance rate, they may need your score early, especially if you're going to apply in early admissions program, trying to get a head start, a jump on everybody else. Okay, fine, then go and take the test sooner. I'm just saying for the most of us, our kids didn't need to take it sooner. And why put them through that, frankly? If the teen years are all about helping your student develop their own self-confidence and their own self-worth, why would you have to go take a test that they're going to do really poorly at, that's going to be super stressful and all of the above? Why do that? Instead, wait until they're ready, let them take it and do well. What a great confidence booster that is. Hey, I did it, you know? By the way, final note on this. And I'm just going to say this really quickly about ACT, SAT prep, okay? If you are thinking that you have to spend most of your high school years preparing for that, your teen is missing out on the best parts of a high school education. Instead, why not prepare them with a well-rounded education all the way till senior year? And then senior year, you go and get a book, and I'll link a couple of my favorites in the comments down below. Go and get a test prep book that teaches the framework of the test, that teaches what you need to know about how to take it. So now, because it's a timed test, right? You're not wasting time reading instructions and trying to figure out what they want from you. You're just going straight into answering the questions. That strategy has worked for more kids than I can count, including my own. So I'm just saying, that's my take on ACT, SAT tests. Don't make this the pinnacle of your high school years. Instead, use it as a tool because that's what it is. My last tip on really some successful ideas for homeschool high school. And this last one will surprise you probably, and it is, hey, commit to the homeschool option. Commit to the high school thing. Even if it's for 1 year, and I would say 1 year would be the minimum, 4 years would be even better. But I'm going to tell you why, and it's got to do with parent-teen conflict, okay? Teenagers are like something between a cross of a shark and a sheep. And the reason I say that is because teenagers can smell a floundering, indecisive parent about 10 miles away. And just like sheep, they always think that the next pasture over is much greener than the one they're standing in right now. So suppose that you are rather uncommitted to the high school thing and you're sort of taking it a semester at a time, right? Your teenager knows this. And in some circumstances, your teenager may have this false view of what public school, high school looks like. Oh, it just looks like so much fun. You're hanging out with all your friends and everything is nothing but rainbows and unicorns, right? Which is, of course, we know not true, but you cannot convince them of that fact. So they walk around with this big old chip on their shoulder. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. This is dumb. I should be in school like everybody else. Okay. You know how you circumvent that? By being confident and steadfast in what you're saying. Okay. You can say, I hear you. I hear your concerns. And at the end of this school year, we will have a conference and we will discuss it. But for this school year, this is what we're doing. There aren't any other options. This is it. You watch that chip evaporate because, frankly, teenagers are not stupid. Stubborn, yes, possibly a little on the rude and insolent side, but they are not stupid. They know a battle that there's no point in waging. They're going to save their energies for those battles that can be won. And as long as you're committed, that's going to be the secret to your success because they aren't going to push back, right, on something where there is no give. The end. Well, that's about it for today. I really hope that these 6 simple strategies have boosted your confidence in teaching high school at home. Definitely remember that you are building bonds with your teen in these years that will last a lifetime. You're giving them the skills they need to go out into the adult world. And isn't that the point of raising teens? Releasing them into the world to be who God meant them to be. So don't forget next week to join me here. That's right, next Wednesday for Homeschool High School Part 3, Successful Scheduling. And by the way, I'll put a link below to Part 1, which was Homeschool High School 8 Myths Busted. That's right. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button down below. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single new video. And hey, if you have a question or a tip to share, leave me a comment down below. And please, most of all, share this video because the homeschool journey is way more fun with friends. So remember, here at Homeschool University, we have 3 key strategies. Be practical. Common sense is golden and it's free. Be purposeful. Pray with and for your children and for your homeschool. And be positive. You can do this because you, that's right, you are amazing.